This is the thing. This is how badly I need this drink right now. We're gonna get like burgers for dinner, and I am having a cocktail instead of onion rings. I've
Wow.
axed. This is like because I'm on a strict calorie budget, right? So I got a budget for every drink.
Sophie's choice.
You know, this is you've driven me to no onion rings, but gin. Welcome to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast, the only podcast to combine the subjects of gaming, tech, media, and puppets for no easily explainable reason. It is September 28th, 2025. You are the internet. I am Kevin Blades. My pronouns are he, him, and this is episode 11 of season 3 of Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Joining me as my co-host, his pronouns are he, him. It's Andrew, aka Bat Phantom.
It's me.
And if he sounds a little stuffed up and compressed, it's because we're recording this remotely. Andrew's got a head cold, so.
Yeah, I decided not to give it to Kevin.
I appreciate it. It's
shut up on Friday going.
Didn't you plan ahead? We can do this over the internet, right?
No, it's better to do it in person. Hang on a second. Let me just. I'll be right back.
Vibe checks, right? It's like going into the office is better for some reason, even though it's worse for absolutely every other reason.
Yeah, I don't think I would have had much longevity in my voice on Friday, but
no.
Thankfully,
yeah, that's why we're a bit delayed. Although I appreciate Andrew making the effort. You still, you're a trooper. So thank you.
It's all good.
It's also a little bit harder to not talk over each other because of the teeny tiny bit of delay that the thing introduces. So we'll try and be mindful of that, but we can't promise anything because it's us. We're always talking over each other anyway. So.
We are. But the thing is, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good, excellent. Off to a flying start. Yeah, I was going to say, how have you been? But I think we know how you've been.
Oh yeah.
Other than the cold, how have you been?
Haven't done much of anything this week. It was just one of those week-long things. This is how, I guess, in old age, this is what happens when I get sick. I'm basically screwed for a week. I ended up taking. I mean, it's nice to have a job where you can take 2 days off.
Sure.
To not make your coworkers sick and to try to rest up. I mean, it's funny how the first thing that seems to hit these days when I get sick is my brain.
Yeah,
it hit me on Sunday night, or no, Monday night. Actually, when I went to bed, I didn't seem to have any issues, and then my brain started to melt during the night, and I got into this insane loop basically where I was convinced. I don't remember the specifics, but basically it was reality had crept into my dreams, and my subconscious became my conscious, and I just kept waking up and thinking that I was still in the dream, and it was very bad. And then the second night it was similar, except it involved editing. Like I was convinced that I was getting links to an edit to work on, but it was so simple that I could literally do it in my sleep. But obviously there was no way to engage it unless I was awake. So I was trying to figure out how I was supposed to initiate the edit while I was asleep and stay asleep and still do the edit. And this happened like hourly. It was incredible. Like every hour I would wake up, and about 5 a.m, I think I managed to wake up and just kind of consciously explain to myself, none of this is real. It's not taking any effect. Just go to sleep. And it was just the worst.
So were you running a fever? Because it sounds very fever dreamy.
I think I might have been. I don't. It just kind of seems to be hot flashes more than a fever. But
right.
Yeah, it certainly felt like a brain fever of some sort. But anyway, and then that's just kind of persisted, and then it tried to migrate into my chest, and it seems to be just a semi-annual tradition. I get my ass kicked at the changing of the seasons. This is almost a regular thing. If you go back to the archives, you probably find the same friggin' result, where like a year ago I probably had the same conversation, and the year before that, I don't know, it's just my brain goes, oh, is it fall? Fuck you.
I used to be the same way, and in fact I would like anticipate, the seasons are, the weather's changed, suddenly I'm going to get sick, and then the pandemic happened and I started masking. Not that I'm lecturing, but like I have relaxed my masking a bit. I I don't, like, if I'm going outside for a walk, I don't mask, but I always have a mask with me. And if I'm going to get on like an elevator or something, or if I know I'm going into a crowded space, I'll put a mask on.
Yep.
So, and I still haven't got, since previous to the pandemic, I haven't had a head cold. I haven't had anything since then. So,
no, that's fair. I mean, obviously I'm in a very high, there's a lot of people around.
Oh yeah, so and it's also because I also work from home. I don't go out unless I need to, or I'm going for a walk outside. Like that's so yeah, my situation is different.
I am flanked by parents of 2 young children each, so my system is basically just under constant assault.
You're the Venn diagram in the middle of the petri dish.
Yeah,
that's not even a metaphor. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, it's fair. They're each a Venn diagram, and in the middle of it is where
is the petri dish.
The crazy illness I got.
So yeah,
it's fair. But other than that, it's been pretty low key for these last 2 weeks.
Can you hear the sirens?
Yep,
there's sirens going by. I've got a noise gate on, but I can still hear this. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm sure you'll hear some on my end as well.
Welcome to the city. Yeah, they're going to go from my place over to Andrew, so you'll hear the follow up.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what's been going on and stuff. But as usual, I still hear the sirens. I want to wait till the sirens are gone. Are they
I
gone?
can barely hear them. I think they're. I think the gate's eating a lot of it. So.
I think, they're just getting later. It's like, I think that was a cop car, actually.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, fuck the police. Anyway, coping mechanism, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, get right into it.
This is the segment where we talk about, we try to redress the negativity bias that all humans have and say, hey, some stuff is nice. So this is where we found things that we have enjoyed or have inspired us or have at least distracted us from the world at large. My thing this week is a podcast / YouTube channel. As you know, as I have talked about previously, I am into language and word etymology. And there's quite a few, Susie Dent is in the UK. She's sort of the grand dame of the whole genre. But there's a couple others, and 2 of them, Rob Watts and Jess Zafaris. Rob has a YouTube channel called Rob Words, where he does very good videos on language etymology, usually English. Now there's a giant plane or something. What is happening? Like, good Lord. It's never, we're usually recording at night as well. Oh, you know what that is? That's a motorcycle. There's a motorcycle outside.
It's a motor plane.
It's one of those winged motorcycles. Anyway, Rob Watts, Jess Ferris are both etymologists. Jess has mostly done books. She has quite a few books out, and Rob Watts mainly does a YouTube channel called Rob Words. They have joined forces for a new podcast, and it's also like on YouTube, so they record it for YouTube as well, called Words Unraveled, and I have a link to it in the show notes. It is delightful and really interesting, and they do like a theme every show, and they're on, I think, their 2nd season now. They really just started recently, and it's been fun because Jess is American and Rob is British, who currently lives in Berlin, and it's been funny to watch them kind of evolve and get more comfortable with each other, because Jess is very sort of outgoing, and she's she gets she thinks it's funny with rude words and stuff, and she likes doing the origins of swear words and naughty things and all that kind of thing. And Rob is unbelievably easily embarrassed. Right. He never wants to talk about any of that stuff. So it's been funny to watch her pushing him. And he's been sort of over the course of the first year of the podcast, he's been kind of loosening up. And now they've got a really nice banter going. It's been really heartwarming and funny. And so
sometimes it takes a while to find your groove as a podcaster.
Yeah, they did. And also because I think he was used to working alone, right? He's used to doing scripted solo videos. Right. And so this is kind of a new format for him. So he's been growing into it very well, and they've really hit a nice kind of point now. So I highly recommend, if you are at all interested in language etymology of English, particularly, although they do delve into others every now and then, because I mean English has been influenced by, you name it, it's been influenced in English somewhere. So yeah, Words Unraveled, Rob Watts, Joseph Harris, YouTube channel /podcast. So there we go. There's my thing.
Yeah, mine is, I mentioned Nick Letzko before in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's a phenomenal artist. I call him a multimedia artist because he's not just doing, he doesn't just do music. He also has amazing music videos to go with them. And he does a lot of regular streaming. And he's just such an amazing talent, and he's got great positivity. But it's very funny but dark material as well.
Sounds good to me.
He has a new album that just came out officially called Ends, which also just completed a very successful Kickstarter for a vinyl edition. He's based in the States, so the vinyl would be ludicrously expensive for me to get at this point. But I've linked to his Bandcamp, which has all of his music, and Ends is also available on the streaming platforms. I highly recommend it. It's hard to categorize it, but I got some real Arcade Fire vibes from the new material.
All right.
But he's a solo artist, but he has an incredible band. He calls them the $100,000 band. And so there's a lot of richness to the material. It's not just a guy and a guitar. He's got an amazing sax player, and everybody's really quite tremendous. And there's a lot of videos as well for the new album and all of his albums. So if you're looking for some really good, smart, very empathetic, extremely, he's very in touch with feelings and conveying passion and
soulful,
and still telling stories.
The word you're looking for.
Yeah, and he's definitely worth checking out. So if you're looking for some good new music, it's a little less. I'd say it's a little less screamy than what Kevin usually listens to these days. But
well, I am all over the map. I've been listening to a lot of feminist hip hop lately. So there's no walls, man. There's nothing. If it's good, I'll listen to it.
He does get a little screamy sometimes, but it's more shrieks of terror than anything. So it's really tremendous. But yeah, his album Ends, and if you go back into the older stuff, his album Swords is phenomenal, and of course the incredible Songs on the Computer, which is where he really took off with his I Want to Be at the RNC and this theme to Spirit Halloween and stuff like that. So now that we're in spooky season, that's definitely worth checking out too, from the Songs on the Computer. And then follow up more Songs on the Computer from when he just blew up. Shit just went viral back in the. You probably heard those tracks and a bunch of his other stuff and went, oh, that guy. So anyway, worth looking into if you're looking for some great new music.
Good stuff. And it sounds like a segue to me.
It does.
So we're going to take a completely fake break, and we will be back with the Puppet Pit.
You have entered an alternate dimension, a dimension of fleece and fur, of foam and industrial adhesives, so I hope you have good ventilation. A signpost up ahead. Watch your step. You have just stumbled into the Puppet Pit.
Welcome to the Puppet Pit, where we talk about the puppet side of Operation Puppet for the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
2 weeks.
So technically 1 week, because I did have a week off prior to last week. Mm-hmm. And as I talked about on the last podcast, which was the week just before the week off, I had planned to stream video game stuff for Pixels and Puppets every day. Guess what didn't happen? Streaming
didn't happen.
None of that happened. And it was really just bad timing, because I happened to coincide my week off with a heat wave, and the air conditioning in the building has been turned off. And this building heats up at night. particularly really, really late at night. So you wake up at 2 a.m. and it's just a freaking oven in here. It was very bad for sleeping. So both me and my spouse really only slept a few hours for that entire week. I don't know if you can hear the child screaming. Now there's a child screaming. Lord. Oh, Sunday afternoons. Don't do it. Anyway. So yeah, I was not in human shape for that, literally that entire week. It was just a complete washout. I didn't really get a good night's sleep until the Friday. And at that time, I just needed such a, I'd like a day to myself to like not feel horrible. So that was how that went down the week before last. And then thankfully last week we were back to business as usual. Speaking of spooky season, this year's Halloween builds got done. I'm very pleased to say, because I wasn't sure I was going to have time for any Halloween builds. And
Halloween puppets.
Hey, it's my special time, so
it is.
One of them was really special. So one of them was a goth Nernie, because I've done a goth Greebly and I've done a goth ogre before. So I decided let's finish the triad, the holy trinity of my models. And the other one, I'm pretty sure we talked about, because last time the thumbnail was the frog, which was the prototype for the new model that will be able to go into very small boxes to save on shipping, which was the brilliant idea I had. Turns out that's going to work quite well. And so I thought, the challenge before me is what kind of interesting characters can you make starting with just a ball, right? And then I realized, oh, hang on, a spider. I can make a pretty good spider. So that was the other Halloween build this past week. It turned out
came out nice.
It turned out so nice that it sold already. Like it sold almost immediately. And the funny part was, like, I did end up, like, I had set the price point before I made it, because my models all have standard prices. And so I thought, okay, something like this should take about this long, so I'll price it at this point. And wow, it took way longer than I had anticipated, because did you know spiders have 8 legs?
Oh, 8 legs.
8 legs. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had like a lot of legs.
Yeah. Well,
that was pretty much
it's
just
pretty
however many was necessary.
It turns out they standardized spider. So
okay, that makes sense.
Your standard spider has 8 legs, and all of those legs have to exist in order for it to be a spider. So I had to make 8 legs. And of course, like, even though they were very simple, I had to make 8 of them. Like, there was just no way around it. So, 8 legs. I literally used an entire package of doll joints, because there was a doll joint in the foot and a doll joint that attached the leg to the body. So literally a whole, what, with 16, 18, whatever, how many doll joints that is. 2 doll joints per leg, 16. So yeah,
it seemed like a good idea at the time.
It took like a few hours to do the legs, whereas usually something like as simple as, because they're basically just a tube, right? That's like stuffed with foam. But yeah, it took like hours to make all those legs and attach them. And I'm finding a place to attach them as well, because it's quite a small puppet. So finding the actual, like, laying all 8 of those legs out so they would sort of rest in the natural position was a bit tricky. So the spiders will continue, because they're quite good and I like them a lot, but they're not going to be regulars. They're only going to be Halloween specials, because it was a lot. So yeah. Anyway, so there we go. Halloween builds are done. So that means the build streams are also back after the week off, and we did do the spider and the Nernie on this past build stream, and it was well attended, and thank you to everybody as always. And that's kind of it. So coming up, I am pleased to say that I've got a whole bunch of commissions lined up. So there's not going to be a lot of shop builds. At least I don't think there's going to be any shop builds in October. I've got new commissions like through the month. So
Just keep in mind, everybody, if you're looking for something for the holidays, there is a Krampus still available on the shop.
There really is. I should usually like I would have taken that down because it didn't sell during the holiday season, but I'm like, that's just dishonest. Who
You
knows?
might want
Maybe
to
somebody
bump it
will,
up or something.
it,
But like you say, you'll get it well in time for the holidays.
There you go.
To terrify your children.
It was the one thing I could think of. Was like, I'm not a Christmassy person, so what can I make for Christmas? Of course, the one Christmas monster is the one that I have to do. So, yeah. So that's what's going on this month. It's going to be all commissions, and not only just commissions, like new prototypes. So there's a lot
challenges.
Yes, very much challenges. The first one is going to. I haven't got permission yet. I'm going to. I'm sure that the client will give me permission to do it on stream and announce what it is, but I haven't actually got that permission yet, so I never talk about it until I do get full consent. And but that'll be real interesting. So that's what's going to happen on this week's build stream. But don't expect a lot of shop builds coming up because there ain't going to be none unless I get a weird free moment. Hopefully I do, but we'll see.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. Things seem to be okay. I figured out the terror situation. I've had 2 puppets shipped to the States successfully since the whole terror situation happened. So things seem okay. Oh, that's right. Well, they're kind of okay. So Canada Post is on strike again.
Oh, yeah.
That literally just happened Thursday night. Like I was like, oh,
That's right.
no. So I have sourced an alternate shipper, so I can still ship. I haven't used them yet. Actually, shipping the spider out is going to be the sort of test run, which is good because it's not like a higher priced item. So if things do go sideways, and it's also, I know for a fact, it's not time dependent. So let's see how long it takes to get there. Hopefully it'll be okay. I think it will. But this is untested.
You're in a good position for that. I mean, if your business involves shipping light, small items, you're hosed.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Hopefully it'll be resolved quickly, but we will see. That's a whole situation. I am still, for the moment, business as usual because I really can't afford not to be. So
yeah,
that's where we are with that, and that's kind of it. The quick puppet pit because a week didn't happen and then a week did happen. So there we go.
Sometimes it's a quick puppet pit.
It happens. It happens. There will be plenty coming up, believe me. But as I get going on these new builds, these prototypes, it's going to be a whole lot of something, and we'll hopefully get there when we get there. So all links as usual on operationpuppet.com. Join the Discord. The Discord is still there, and it's still existing, and it needs you. It needs your voice, and it needs your face, and it needs your words. So there we go. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to take a quick break, and boy, it's going to be a packed Pixel Town, folks. We got things and stuff happened. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with Pixel Town.
The sky above the port was the color of a YouTube video locked behind 17 unskippable ads. Around the rainy streets, people dodged out-of-control robo-taxis and shot down delivery drones carrying $50 burgers. Here we fight the corporate ecologies and get excited about avoiding our phones. Welcome to the mean streets of Pixel Town.
I almost wanted like the small child to scream or sirens or something at that point because it would have been appropriate.
I would have locked it down, yeah.
Welcome to Pixel Town, where we talk about gaming and tech and all things related thereunto. And it's a packed one, so we should probably just keep rolling on through. We got a kind of a mini deck nook up front.
I wouldn't call it a mini deck nook. This is a proper size deck nook.
We're fully nooked and decked. We will move the Steam Deck thing. So the first one,
handheld gaming market has exploded in this last week or so, and the last couple of weeks at least. And so there's definitely a lot of stuff to, if you've been thinking about it,
Yeah.
things are getting very interesting.
Things are heating up. Lenovo Legion Go 2 pre-orders have started to get canceled on their site because the demand is exceeding the projected supply.
I mean, what is a pre-order?
Yeah.
This is the point. The idea of the pre-order was supposed to be to judge the production size, originally at least. The idea being, oh, look, we've got 100,000 orders. We guess we'll make 150,000 of them. And that way we know we've sold 100 and we got 50 ready to go, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, that's not how things are. And I mean, the biggest issue right now in that whole world is the tariff situation. I mean, all of these manufacturers have just been beaten to death back and forth by the tariffs. There are no tariffs. There's tariffs. Little tariff, big tariff, no tariff, untariff. It's just they can't fucking make any plans. So
I completely empathize.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, nobody could really lock down pricing on anything. And now we've got console pricing going up in some cases. And so yeah, the fact that they've basically tried to do, they did pre-orders for the Legion Go and then went, shit, too many people want it. So we had to, I mean, this is the thing. It doesn't make any sense. Now, on one hand, the hype is a big issue, right? They want to make, if they can have something that gets headlines, then they win. So maybe the goal was to fuck themselves and then go, oh no, we have to make a news article now about why we're so popular that you can't actually have the thing that we're trying to sell you.
Yep.
Like, but if you, so it sounds like they just didn't limit the number of pre-orders based on how many they actually had. I think that was the bigger issue. They didn't realize there was going to be demand for it.
I think first of all, like a lot of the manufacturing places still haven't recovered full working capabilities since all of the production line or chain of supply stuff got interrupted during the pandemic. So there's still some weirdness there. And also, just nobody knows. Like, there's so many interruptions and so many unknowns right now. I think they probably just, because the manufacturing situation is so scattered right now, they're probably just playing it safe, right?
Right, but it also sounds like they literally were selling them in advance. This wasn't simply a put your deposit down on the hardware. It's buy the hardware now and we'll ship it to you when it's ready. And they've basically had to refund people's orders because they weren't able to supply the orders that were made, which is just so fucking dumb. I mean, the Legion Go Gen 2 is a ludicrously expensive piece of tech. And yet people were like, yeah, no, I want it. Give it to me. and they said, oh shit, we didn't think any of you would really want it. So we only made half as many as we seem to be able to sell. So I guess nothing makes sense anymore. I mean, there's everything is so slipshod and slap happy, and it just doesn't track. I'm just reading the article here from the Eurogamer about it now. You can't just state some orders will be canceled and ride back off into the sunset. State which ones and why.
Yeah.
To do with discount codes, say so. So yeah, there's another problem. I guess they were giving some people discount codes, and magically those are probably the ones that are getting canceled. So
some middle manager made a decision is what it comes down to, and it just goes up the chain and nobody really knows what's going on because there's all kinds of every organization is top heavy right now, right? There's too many managers and too few people actually doing the work, and that's where things get like this. So yeah. And
I mean, I can't even see the current price for this. I don't think it shows up on. It's hard to get in Canada, so I think that it just shows as coming soon. So, but it's still probably a $1,500.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least something like that. So, So also related there unto the ROG Ally Xbox Edition thing.
So, yeah, now that's something that's obviously been looming large in the handheld gaming market, is an officially branded Microsoft Xbox console handheld official. Jesus Christ, words.
It's okay. You're on
official
blame cold
branded
medication.
Xbox hardware. Jesus. And so they announced it a couple months ago, and everybody's like, okay, cool, how much? And they went, what?
I'm sorry, we didn't think that far.
It's like, no, but how much are you going to charge for? Charge for what?
La 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 la
the
la. I
Xbox.
can't
The
hear
what?
you.
Oh, the Xbox LEX. Yep, it's coming soon. So, and again, I assume it's largely the tariff dance. They had to wait and see how fucked they were on so many parts, and so the dual model is what's really confusing people as well at this point, because there's the regular version and there's the X version, because of course there's a fucking X version. So, and it all comes down to how much juice do you want? How much money do you have? How much you willing to spend?
You want all the frames, because frames cost.
How more faster? Yeah. So and it's a struggle, and there's no easy answer. I mean, the answer is spend as much as you can. I mean, it's just if you can't afford the full version. So I'm looking at bestbuy.ca right now, and you can pre-order the Xbox Ally for $799, which is the normal non-extreme version, which is the Ryzen Z2A, or you can, for the Xbox Ally X, which is the Z2 Extreme.
We should tack on a few more X's.
And that one is $1,299, which is nothing to sneeze at, but that's actually a fairly reasonable price considering.
Now, this is the thing that's going to have like the custom version, like Windows handheld kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the other one of the many weird elements of this, because nobody's been hands-on yet, I don't believe, with the official Windows Xbox version. So that would, in theory, it would affect the performance of things, because excuse me, as we said many times in the past, the great thing about the Steam Deck is that it is a hard target. It is something that developers can say, this is what we want to maximize. We want to prioritize and make sure that the game runs beautifully on this hardware, and they can make the tweaks and they can make it happy. And that's one of the main reasons why it was able to gain success, is because it was just a solid point that the developers could aim for. And so now they can say, okay, now we have the Xbox Ally X target, except that there's two of them, which is similar to what's happening with the Xbox consoles in general, because we still have the Series S and the Series X, because of course they had to pick the two letters that sound the same when you say them out loud.
This is Microsoft marketing we're talking about. I mean,
oh my God, it just doesn't stop. So anyway, the lesser version, and it is a lesser version, it's still $800, which is still more than a Steam Deck. And I guess the real question on the straight up is the Ally faster than a Steam Deck? And I think it is. For the $800.
Oh yeah,
it's a 7-inch screen,
no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt you will get more frames out of this thing.
Yeah, it is still a Ryzen Z2A, and so it is more powerful. But again, we don't know. They haven't released the version of Windows yet. We don't know how optimized it is. We don't know how much of an improvement it is.
And honestly, the big question is, how crammed full of AI crap is it? Because it's Microsoft.
Right.
They have to. They have no... This is their obsession now. They're practically religious fanatics for it. So
absolutely. But the question is the Ryzen Z2 platform usable for Copilot and all that other bullshit, or do they know that they have to keep it out in order to make these things viable?
I promise you, it doesn't matter if they have to keep it out. They will still put it in, because from higher up, this is the mandate now. And so,
even if it affects performance,
and this is the thing, it's like, no matter what gains we may get from doing a stripped down version of Windows, which would be great, you're probably going to lose that, because you've got to have on-device fucking machine learning garbage that nobody wants anyway, except for the guys who are in the suits, who are in the offices on the top floor. That's who this is for. So,
and the other thing people have to understand, and this is to the uninitiated, despite the fact that this does say Xbox Ally X, and it does say Xbox Anywhere, and you can do any Xbox, you can be an Xbox. This is not an Xbox. It is still. I know.
That's the best marketing pitch I've ever heard. Because it's a direct response to this is an Xbox, right? No, this is not an Xbox.
It's like, oh, so I can download and play Xbox games on this one? No. Well, not all of them. That's going to be the answer, and everything's qualified. Like they want to be able to make it sound like this thing is
asterisk
an Xbox Series.
You like the
X
cloud,
that you can
don't
take
you?
anywhere, and it's not.
Everybody
and
loves the cloud.
This is if you can play many Xbox titles on the cloud, but if you're playing them on the cloud, you don't need the extreme version. You can just get the same performance out of the regular version. It's just a matter of, do you want to be able to play the PC version of Xbox platform titles on the hardware, and that's when the difference kicks in. And as we've seen before, on a 7-inch display, as lovely as they are, I believe these are 120 as well. I'm not 100% sure.
Sure.
To get that, if you can get that extra frame rate out of it, depending on the title, something like Hades 2, that could be a very you'll probably see a difference. But realistically, on a 7-inch platform, you're not going to visually see a big difference in performance. So, and that's a fairly major issue to me in terms of, is it worth the extra money? It is definitely 120 hertz display, for the record.
Right.
But yeah, so you're getting, it's a more powerful unit, but is it $500 more powerful is the eternal question. And I would definitely wait until we get a lot more hands-on reviews of these and these things are going to be, I'd say, torn apart, but they will literally be torn apart as well, but by professionals who can tell you what's inside it. So I would not, don't worry about them being sold out and not being able to get a hold of one, because come on, guys, just we're beyond that. Just these things need time. Like, I bought the Legion Go and it came out with the intent of returning it if I didn't fall 100% in love with it. And that's what happened. I thought it was very cool, but in the end, I decided it wasn't worth the $1,000 that I paid for it, and I got my money back. Another difference between the two platforms is that the regular version has a 60 watt-hour battery capacity, and the X has an 80 watt-hour. So battery is a factor as well. So again, there are differences, but that is a pretty big chunk between the two of them. And if your goal is to play online titles, I believe BattleEye and programs like that will work, so you don't have to worry about that. And that works both ways, though. Like, if you're going to stream it, it doesn't matter, because you're not actually hosting it anyway on the unit. And if you're downloading it directly to the unit, then it can do that. So that is obviously
that
still
is kind of
the
only real kind of I hate to say the term, but trump card that that Windows kind of has at this point is the fact that the anti-cheat stuff is just verboten on Linux. So, you know, you can play your Fortnites and your Destinies and all that kind of thing on this, and not on a Steam Deck.
If you definitely want to be able to play those titles on a handheld unit, then and I don't know if, like, for me, I would rather do that at home anyway.
Sure.
So, you know, I still haven't got a real world use case for myself where I've been able to use my handheld devices a lot, because I don't want to play when I'm at home. I want to play on my big TV, and when I'm at work, I don't have time to play it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I was in a different position, or if I had a longer commute, as I've said, I would definitely have more of a chance to get into it. And it's a little frustrating to not have more game time. I'll be honest. It's kind of funny to.
I hear you.
It's a good problem to have, but that's just how it is. So as far as the Ally X and the Ally goes, that's where we stand. The price is out there. You can do pre-orders. Again, I don't think they're going to have the Lenovo problems. One thing that's come out of this has been the MSI Claw, which we've discussed before. The difference with the MSI Claw is that it is using an Intel platform, which has not been adopted by pretty much anyone else. But
no, and I'm thinking about the Intel news this week.
Well, that's you know, aside from all of the bullshit happening with Intel in general, it's a shame, because it sounds like they have made some great strides on the Claw hardware. and it has improved dramatically since launch. So which is very frustrating because it would be nice to have a lot more competition in the handheld market. And if Intel's platform turned out to be a strong competitor, especially if it was cheaper, that would be the real kicker, is if somehow the Intel version of the hardware turned out to be cheaper than the Ryzen version. I mean, that would be huge, but I seriously doubt that's going to continue to be the case. The Claw is still a very expensive piece of kit, if you can even get one anymore, because I think they've just kind of vaporized. So I don't think, so the MSI Claw 8, the MSI Claw 8AI Plus A2VM. I swear to God.
Great job marketing. Take a half holiday.
Yeah. It's $1,299 from Best Buy. So that's the going rate. And again, that has 32 gigs of RAM, which is more than the Xbox has. And it is still running on Windows. Now, will this also support the Xbox Windows version? Probably. Could you put Bazite on it? I'm sure. This is all stuff that's still,
if it's an Intel processor, yes. That's
exactly.
The answer is yes.
So, again, it's a matter of people deciding they want to support it on the software side, and if they sold enough of these units, they would have a lot more attention. But I think the numbers have been minimal for this platform, so it's unlikely, I think, that it's going to truly gain a foothold unless one of the companies just decides to go all in on it. And I mean, MSI is just not it for that. So with the presence of the Ally X, definitely in the short term, it's going to be that versus the Steam Deck. And Steam Deck has still stood high and is not in any, they're not talking about the next hardware anytime soon.
Every time there's a Steam Deck 2 rumor, it's like, they're like, nope.
I mean, at this point, it sounds like it's at least 2 years away. So there was a lot of speculation that there was going to be an announcement this week about a new VR platform from Steam, and that hasn't.
We know they're working on it. We know they're working on Project Deckard. And in fact, there has been some movement there. I didn't actually put this in the show notes, but it is interesting. We will kind of get there. But there has been some stuff about VR and Linux, which is exciting for me. So, Steam Deck, to segue into the next thing, because we're still in the mini deck nook here. Steam Deck, and ironically enough, they have the Steam auto sales currently going on. So the lowest end Steam Deck is currently on sale until October 6th. And it is, I can't remember what it is in Canadian dollars, but it's way cheaper than any of the other things that we've just talked about. So
the Steam Deck, if you buy one today and you just want the entry level Steam Deck, it is $399.20 Canadian.
Yep.
Plus, which is bananas.
Yep.
That is the 256 gig, and that's an LCD screen, but it's more than capable.
That's literally the one I ordered. I upgraded the hard drive myself. Very easy to do. And so you can wait to get a bigger hard drive on sale. And that is literally the only difference between this and any of the other Steam Decks other than the OLED. But the processor,
that's a big difference.
It is a big difference, but
yeah, the OLED display is gorgeous, but it's not 100% necessary by any means.
Yeah.
That is a huge price difference.
Even if you're just sort of curious now, because this is a good position for the Steam Deck to be in, because now it's kind of more attractive to people who aren't sure and who don't necessarily want to invest $1,000 into a handheld if they're not sure. But this is a more attractive proposition. So I think time will show that Valve has been wise, to just hold the course and kind of say, nah.
It is still funny to see that the difference between the low end and the middle end Steam Deck is going from $399 to $689.
Yeah,
and that's for the 512 gig version, and then it's another $150 or so to get to the 1 terabyte. But really, even if you were to get the 512 gig OLED, it's still $689 versus the minimum $799 for the Xbox Ally.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of amusing that that's the difference. But you're getting stuff, you're getting some things. You got to be honest about what you want to play and how you want to play it, and that's and how much money you got. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
that's a big factor. And
for a lot of people, that's the
$399.
deciding factor, is just the financial hit, right? So
Yeah, $400 is a very reasonable price to pay to get some very powerful gaming hardware, which will get a lot done. And again, if you're going to do cloud gaming anyway, it's a no-brainer.
yep. All right, there we go. Mini Deck Nook done. Speaking of Linux, so you may have heard of this game called Baldur's Gate 3. I certainly did, and we reviewed it, or I reviewed it in this very podcast. It was not my cup of tea, I must say, despite the fact that it's like, one of the most beloved games of all time, multiple award-winning game of the year, etc., etc., etc. Everybody,
Paradigm shifting,
yeah, everybody but me loves Baldur's Gate 3.
which is funny. Really.
But that's welcome to being me. Like, this is just like, I'm constantly out of step with the entire rest of the universe. So it just, I'm just not, I'm sorry. I'm just not horny enough. That's the bottom line. It was just too damn horny. You couldn't avoid the horny. If I could have avoided the horny, it would have been fine. But it's just, it's horny's in your face the whole time. And I don't need horny video games. So it's not for me. However, I appreciate what it did do, and I extra appreciate Larian Studios because they've been really, really consumer advocacy. Is that a phrase? It is now. Yeah. And the most recent thing, and this is the thing, like they could have walked away from this a long time ago, and they're still patching the thing, including this past week or two. There is now a Linux native port of Baldur's Gate 3. It was made specifically to run well on the Steam Deck. Now, they did not have to do this. It already ran on the Steam Deck. It's a little rough. But it was also like one of the most played games on Steam Deck. So they didn't have to do this. This wasn't going to do anything. They just wanted to do this because they could. And they believe in it, and so they did it. And so now there is a Linux native Baldur's Gate 3 port that you can download. It does work on it was made specifically for Steam Deck, but you can also make it work on desktop. So
right.
Well done, Larian. We like that. That is a very cool and pro consumer thing that they've done there. So
have you seen anybody talking about performance on it? Like, is it actively better? Or
I haven't looked, to be honest, and I obviously haven't tried it myself because I don't care for the game, but I can't imagine. So usually there are performance gains when you get a native versus something that has to run through Proton. However, they're not that much. I think they were just more interested in optimization and stability, which it would be, because if it's running native, then you don't have to go through a translation layer. And the whole thing is like that will make it last longer, because the thing about Proton is there are new versions all the time, or somebody could use their own custom version and that might break some things and you can't foresee any of that. But if you've got a Linux native version, you know how that's going to run. So that's it. They just they did the work. All of their other games, or at least Divinity Original Sin, the two other games.
Yeah.
Those also have native Linux ports, so they're just they're Linux people is what it comes down to. So,
and the more companies that do this, the more other companies will fall in line.
Yep,
and that's what we want to see.
It was very, very cool of them to do this, so I appreciate that. Yeah. So speaking of Xbox, woof. You know what? I'm gonna let you take a lead on this because I don't want to seem like I'm bad mouthing Xbox.
No, it's not just Xbox. I mean, Sony, both Xbox and Sony have had increased prices on their hardware, largely because of the tariff situation. Is it also profit taking? Of course it is, because that's where we are in this. Yes.
Sony did a particularly shitty thing in that they didn't change in one of the models. They didn't change the price, but they downgraded the size of the hard drive that you get.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that fucking
So they actually
sucks.
changed the hardware instead of the price.
And it's like really 200 gigs less or something. Like it's one game's worth less. But
they got one cheaper memory chip.
Yeah, exactly. That's really shitty, Sony. But anyway, yeah.
So yeah, I'm reading off the article here. Basically, the Xbox Series S, which is still in 2 different flavors, have both gone up $20 American. The Series X digital and the regular Series X are both up $50, and the 2 terabyte Galaxy Black, which I don't think you can find anywhere anyway, is actually up $70. So they have, they basically just said, look, due to changes in the macroeconomic environment, they have had to alter
They're blaming
the price.
tariffs. They're just blaming
Of course.
tariffs.
Now, at the same time, this week, it was quietly announced that Costco will stop selling Microsoft Xbox products, period. They're gone. They're already, some places are even already discounting them to get them off the shelves, that seems a little insane. I mean, the hardware is still perfectly valid. There's no reason to dump it, but it's like in some locations they just want to get rid of what they've got.
It's shelf space that can be used.
I mean, you would think
else,
that Microsoft would want it back. Like, just here, we'll buy it back. Give it to me. But whatever, man. I mean, now I get it, because historically the idea was the hardware was supposed to be a loss leader. You would lose money on the hardware and you would make money on the software sales. And if you were a store, you sold the games alongside the hardware. And obviously in a digital economy, that's almost completely annihilated. You know, you look at EB Games and it's they still have used games, but the days when they would sell you, a couple of games to go along with your new hardware purchase are gone.
Yeah.
They can jam in as whatever they can, but so I can appreciate. I would be more surprised if Costco just got out of gaming completely. But the fact that they've only gotten out of the Xbox game is interesting. It makes you wonder if Sony may have given them a little something to not purge.
Something like this is usually they look at their figures, they look at the numbers, and they go, we're not selling enough of these to warrant having them on the shelves when we could have something else that would sell more in that same space. So that's usually the reason those kind of decisions are made, are usually that kind of thing.
Yeah. And people, realistically, people aren't buying Xboxes. They're buying PlayStations. I mean, we cover Xbox and PlayStation fairly equally, but the numbers definitely show that Sony is destroying Microsoft on almost every level. No. And
unfortunately, it's still the fallout from that terrible E3. Like, Xbox never recovered from that awful E3.
Yeah, and people still like the PlayStation. So the fact that they tried to go Xbox is everywhere, which is fine, and then you can't say Xbox is everywhere and also buy an Xbox and have people get confused.
You're bang on. You're absolutely right. Like, it was the most boneheaded marketing move I've ever seen. I guess it's very Microsoft thing to do, of course, but like you
committed yourself.
Yeah,
you've basically said, we want you to be able to play Xbox games anywhere, and we've created an environment where you can do that, and you can't say that and turn around and say also buy a Series X. It's just an impossible sales pitch to be able to talk out of both sides of your mouth like that. So, and they're having a lot of trouble internally, I'm sure, deciding which direction they really want to go. They are still talking about the next generation Xbox hardware. There's been a lot of
bless them.
I know, it's incredible, but they're actually still talking about having new hardware.
All six people who work here and are also all managers are talking about that.
They part of the PlayStation State of Play reel this past week involved fucking Microsoft Flight Simulator coming out on PlayStation.
Yep.
How bananas is that?
Yep.
Like cats and dogs living together.
Well, it's Microsoft knows that like the only chance they've got at this point for it to survive is that Xbox just becomes a publisher. It just becomes a brand that you publish under, like EA or Blizzard or something like that. So that's what Xbox is now. It's just a name. It's just a brand that you publish games under. That's it.
But it's not, and it's not just the consoles. Like, you won't be able to get controllers either. Yeah. Accessories are gone. So it is a little trickier for parents that just want to get another controller for their kid. Like, nope, You're gonna have to go to EB or
Meanwhile,
Target or something.
8-Bit Doe steps up and goes, "Hey guys,
Yeah, look
we've
what I
got these really cool controllers, and they're not expensive anyway."
Yeah.
So yeah,
anyway,
that's
things are looking pretty dour in that
Yeah.
world. So I mean,
unfortunately,
still,
I was, how all in on Xbox I was, and I'm now fully out. So like,
yeah, fully.
it just
I
happens.
totally understand. I'm still got inertia at this point, but I mean, it's going to be hard. I'll be hard pressed to buy more.
Well,
hardware at this point.
that is it, right? Like, you've already invested, so obviously you're going to keep what you got. But are you going to invest more? Probably not, because who knows if it's still going to be around, right? So,
Yep.
Speaking of things that aren't Microsoft, I don't know, segue kind of.
No, it's good.
This is wild. This is dropped like last night, the night before. And this came out of the blue. I was literally shocked with this. So,
I think
Gamers
they've been
Nexus.
talking about it.
This is the first I've ever seen of anyone from Gamers Nexus talking about this stuff. Gamers Nexus is adding Linux benchmarking to their roundup, and they've got
To the suite.
Yes, so obviously, like, Gamers Nexus is the place to go for like hardware reviews, and like, they're the big guys. Excuse me, they're the ones who. They're basically like Digital Foundry, but for like hardware. So this is not small. This isn't like PewDiePie going, "I'm going to switch to Linux," and then like, so we can do a shocked guy thumbnail and hope everybody forgets when he said the N-word. This is like surprising. And the fact that like in the video they posted, Steve was like, "Yeah, I fucking hate Windows. I want to get away from Windows, and I want to help other people get away from Windows." It's like, oh, Steve, you did it. You said the words. Yeah. That's awesome.
No, he's been pretty open about it.
Gamers Nexus has just been like fucking going hard on the real journalism. Like, they're done. They're so pissed that it's like, it's refreshing to see.
Absolutely. They've got the sides out, and they're trying to empower the users. They want people to understand you do have choices here. We are headlong towards we're in an oligarchy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like this, and there are alternatives to be had.
Or at least you as an individual can make different choices that don't feed into this thing.
And it's great that he's stepped up, and the crew have said, "Yep, we're going to start showing performance in Linux." And if a lot of developers start showing performance gains in that world, it's going to get extremely interesting.
Well, this is a very good point, because like, they pay attention to what Gamers Nexus says. That's the thing. Like, they got some sway and some pull. So like, if they start going, "This runs great on Windows, not so great on Linux," they might actually start caring about that stuff, right? Like, or if Gamers Nexus starts advertising the fact that you can't play Fortnite or something on Linux, the whole anti-cheat system might suddenly get revised. Like, this is huge. So don't underestimate the effects that this could have. So I'm super appreciative. Now,
the video, I'll be honest, I watched the video and my eyes started getting crossed, because they started getting into the reads about different versions of Linux and all of that. And God bless them, they're not going to sugarcoat it for the user, but man, it can still be a lot.
It is a lot, and this is the thing. I'm glad they kind of did that, because it does front load expectations, right? Because like, I've been saying this all along. Like, I've been fully on Linux for over a year now, and it is not a smooth, easy transition. You will have to do work. You will get frustrated. You will backslide. Part of switching to Linux is switching back to Windows, and then getting fed up again and making another go. Like, that's part of it. Every day on all of the Linux gaming places, you see people going, "I can't take it anymore. I'm switching back to Windows," and then inevitably they come back. Like, it's just part of the process. But I'm hoping that like, this can be a two-edged sword, of course, because like, the idea that, okay, we're going to try Linux, but if that doesn't go completely smoothly, then suddenly people will feel like, "Oh, I can't switch to Linux," right? So it is a two-edged sword. And it's not a completely smooth process yet. It is absolutely doable. And once you kind of get there, you're there and it's fine. But it is a bit of a journey to get there. So I hope that they have the patience to kind of put in the time and show the work that they do. So it's encouraging.
And Lord knows, Gamers Nexus shows the work.
They show the work, absolutely. And they're calling in people who do know about this stuff as well. So
they're 100% ready to bring in whoever's necessary to show.
That's good. Bazite,
right.
the head developer of Bazite, like the reason I saw this is because I saw it reposted by the developer of Bazite going, you guys want some help? We can do this. We can, whatever you need, we can do a custom build just for you. Like it's all good. So it's
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's real great. So so from a good thing to a what the hell? EA going private for $50 billion. What is,
Basically, a private consortium is offering to take EA private, so I guess they're valued around $35 billion right now because they're a publicly traded company,
right?
And a private company, which surprise, surprise, is fronted largely by the Saudis. They're offering a fuck ton of money, and of course the stock is skyrocketing now because that's what happens in these kind of stories, and it's. Obviously, this is stuff that would be invisible to the gamer. You're not supposed to know about things like this day to day as an end user, but the coverage has been fairly regular about the sports washing that the Saudi government has been doing.
Right,
and it's the Saudi Public Investment Fund that is part of the equity firm Silver Lake Affinity Partners and the PIF, and they're basically. Because as has been the case, the Saudis have a shitload of cash to spend, and they're also trying to divest themselves from oil because they know that that's not going to last much longer. So they figure, hey, let's just dominate the gaming industry because nerds have money, right? So it is a fairly big deal. So they have a stake in EA already. Anyway, it would not be great, obviously.
Is it worse to go private than stay public though? Like,
well, it's a question of who you need to make happy,
right?
As a private company, because if you're a developer, instead of dealing with the shareholders, now you're just dealing with
the guy.
It's just exactly. It's pretty obvious. You don't have to be open about who the shareholders are. That was the fun part about the shareholder idea, was that at least you could know who those shareholders were. And now it's like, no, it's the private company that owns this. But I don't want to kick off the whole end stage capitalism discussion because that's a whole.
I mean, how many times can we do that, right?
Right, but it is the case. I mean, this does lead into that whole. If somebody's got enough money and can buy all of the game companies and then they just own gaming, I mean, how could that possibly be a good thing? How could that be good for anyone? I mean, competition is important in any industry, and when you've got companies like this that are willing to literally just absorb every other company, then you've got no
regulations on monopolies. That's the thing, right?
Right, exactly. So you don't have any power. There's no government power to really affect them aside from, their ability to sell things.
Well, these are the governments now. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's it.
We've hit the cyberpunk utopia or dystopia of like the corporations are the government. That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the surface, there would be concern that, because the Saudis are involved, anything showing anything that they don't like will disappear.
Goodbye all queer characters.
But at this point, well, this is it. It's the good thing about their involvements thus far has been that they don't care about any of that as long as there's money.
As long as they make money, yeah.
Exactly. They're happy to let other people in other countries and other groups do whatever they like. Just don't do it in our backyard and you're fine. And so at some point they get to a stage where they want to showcase the people that are making these games and that are featured in these games, and were they to host them in Saudi Arabia, it would be very indelicate to have trans people showing off their wares. Like if the Jeff Keighley decides to host Summer Game Fest in Qatar for some reason. I wonder if that'll happen. And then then it becomes a very delicate scenario. Side note: the Saudis announced that they will be hosting WrestleMania in 2027, which is a huge deal because basically they didn't want to do give them WrestleMania itself, because that's their true main show. Like their biggest show of the year is always WrestleMania,
right?
And what they wanted to do was, we want to give you guys Super WrestleMania. It's going to be awesome. It'll be even bigger than WrestleMania, and it'll be all yours. And they're like, no, we want WrestleMania. And they went, I don't know. And then they said, here's $250 million. And they went, done. Like it was they just wrote them a big fat check, and all of a sudden, boom, WrestleMania 2027, Saudi Arabia. So have fun. And obviously the fans were mad. And so the same thing could happen in the game world. Like if they decide, if part of buying EA means they also start moving more of those companies to their new mega cities that they're trying to build, like, we're going to host everything here now. Come work here.
What are we really talking about? We're talking about like what? Like Call of Duty and or Battlefield, or like...
So that's Battlefield. EA is Battlefield.
Right. I don't
and
know.
FIFA. FIFA is the FIFA. It's not even FIFA anymore. Whatever the fuck it is. They changed the name. It's not even called FIFA anymore. That sports game where you can buy packs and ruin your life.
But this is like,
anyway,
so we're talking about like just the big AAA games, right? That's right. What we're talking about.
EA is still one of the monsters, and and to basically put them under the umbrella of the Saudis and whoever else wants to pretend to have ownership of it. It's more just about consolidation as much as anything. I mean, once they turn into this amorphous blob rolling over the industry and just absorbing everything, and it become impossible, then it's always just a question of, when are we going to get bought? When are we going to get bought? When do they eventually buy Microsoft? When do they buy Valve? And just turn it into one giant,
as of yet, thankfully, Valve is not for sale.
Yeah, everything lives in Roblox world.
Yeah,
and that's your platform for everything. I don't know.
AAA gaming is dead. Let's just say it.
We're pretty much there. I mean, the only, there's a lot of concern right now because Gen Alpha, or whatever the fuck they are, don't give a shit about games right now. They play Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, and that's it. They don't play anything else.
That is it.
And they're like, well, look at all these other cool games. I'm like, I don't care. Fortnite. Side note, I guess today Fortnite is hosting a tribute to Daft Punk, which is pretty heartbreaking. But they've got because they've had a bunch of musical collaborations over the years, some of them very visually interesting. And
every time I hear one of these things, all I can see is like Krusty the Clown going, "They drove a dump truck of money up to my house." Yeah,
exactly. It would be I would celebrate the return of Daft Punk if this turned into an announcement that they're actually got a new album. That would be incredible. If they announced that on Fortnite, it would still break my heart. But if that's what it takes, so be it. Anyway,
yeah. That's happening.
Yeah, there's a lot more discussion to be had about this, but at the very least, be aware that there is a good chance that EA will just go private, and that'll be that. And if you want to work for them, you're going to be working for the Saudis, and that's up to you.
Good luck, Battlefield players. Anyway, so that we're going from good thing to bad thing to good thing to bad thing. So good thing. As we talked about last time, I've been spending quite a while in No Man's Sky in VR, and it has been delightful with the new update. And that gave me a taste for being in spaceships in VR. And of course, when it comes to that, there's really only two other technically, and we can throw Star Wars Squadrons in there as well. But the other big space VR game is, of course, Elite Dangerous. And so I have played Elite Dangerous quite a bit in the past, but I've never really been able, because it's a really kind of tough cookie to crack. That's the wrong metaphor. Tough egg to crack. Tough nut to crack. Something's cracking. Something is cracking, and it's not me. However,
what's the nutcracker in this scenario?
Me. Definitely me. Yeah, but so anyway, I've been getting into Elite Dangerous again. Now, speaking of Linux, here's the real kind of part about this. And this shows you the lengths I will go to not compromise my principles. So, the only VR headset I have is PlayStation VR 2. The PSVR 2 app, I do have the PC adapter for it, no problem. It only works on Windows. Problem. And there's absolutely no way of making it work on Linux. People have tried and failed. So if I want to do this, if I want to play Elite Dangerous in VR, I have to play it under Windows. So here's what I did. There's a little tool called Rufus. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Nope.
Okay, Rufus is on the surface just one of those tools that's like, oh, you can make your bootable USB. I actually currently am holding a bootable USB for your Windows install, right? And it's just a simple way of like getting Windows install onto your USB, being able to boot off of that and install Windows. But Rufus can do a little bit more than that. Rufus can make a Windows to go portable USB drive, which is something that you're not supposed to be able to do with Windows. Rufus can do it. So what I've done, Rufus could also do very interesting things like remove the requirement for an online account, remove all the hardware requirements for Windows 11. It can, like, all of the annoying shit, you can just strip it out on your install build by just clicking a few checkboxes. So, what I currently have is a spare 500 gig SSD on an USB enclosure that for the moments when I need to boot into Windows so I can play Elite Dangerous in VR, I plug that drive into the computer, boot off of it, and play my game. And then when I'm done, pull the drive, and I don't touch Windows at all. So there's the compromise for that situation. It's a lot, but it works. It works really well. So it's like, nice. I found a way around it, and I don't have an online account. It's not nothing. It's none of that nonsense. It's as stripped down a Windows as you can possibly get to just be able to run the software. So there we go. And I've been spending a lot of time playing Elite Dangerous, and I've been really enjoying it. It is very much one of those games that is a very long, slow burn. You need to invest some time in Elite and know your stuff. It's much more space simmy.
Yeah, there's a lot of mention of grind.
There is a lot. It's not even just grind. It is more like you need to understand the systems of your ship. Like, you have to literally know how to fly. Like, it's not the kind of comic bookiness of, it's not the pulp sci-fi of No Man's Sky. It is very much like, so I got my HOTAS out. I'm like doing the throttle and stick thing. I'm like doing full flight sim stuff, which I really, really dig. So that's like my bread and butter. But you do have to know your stuff, and you have to know how the ship works, and you have to know, like, there's literally, like, you have to understand how the gravity of the planet you're passing is going to affect your speed, like things like that. It's really involved, and it's very, very time consuming in that it actually simulates like the galaxy at 2 scale. There's like 400 billion stars in the galaxy, and you can, like, if you want to spend hours and hours like jumping from star to star in real time, you can do that and like discover star systems that no one's ever seen before. And it's like it's that kind of thing. It's really, really wild, but. So that's cool, and I've really been enjoying it. However, what that did make me do was kind of go down a little rabbit hole of, like, you know, me being the history buff. I knew that Elite Dangerous was just the latest in the line of games. What came before this? and I found a really cool video on the very first Elite game, and I had no idea about this. And I've linked to it in the show notes. I really urge anybody who's interested in video game history to go and watch this, because I had no clue, and this is just so up my alley that I'm like, I should know this stuff. But it was almost exclusively a UK phenomenon. It was actually funded, funnily enough, by the Thatcher government, which is very weird to say, and the person who made this video does address that. But it's absolutely wild how complex and involved the very first Elite game was. It was the very first fully procedurally generated universe like that. And the amount of stuff that is pretty much unchanged from the very first Elite game in 1984 or 6 or something like that.
It is insane how far ahead it was.
It was. I could not believe it. It was just like, what?
I bounced off of it hard because it was uncompromising is the word.
Yes.
It was basically learn how to play me because I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
And at the time we were young and foolish and went, never mind. This looks cool, but it doesn't have a lot of flash. And again, it was obviously very taxing on systems back then. I mean, It had extremely rudimentary 3D interfaces, and it was, you couldn't help but be blown away by what they were trying to pull off. But the scope was so far beyond what it was capable of. And like you say, that's why I'm sure that I'll have to watch the documentary.
It is wild. He goes into really intricate detail about literally how they managed to get in such a limited amount of space and memory, how they managed to calculate this. He goes into how the pixels are drawn, and it's crazy. Unbelievable. I could not believe how groundbreaking this was. So I got a whole new appreciation for the lineage of Elite. It was wow, this is big stuff. So really, really interesting. And it made me kind of going, hey, this is cool. I feel even better about playing Elite Dangerous, knowing that this is the end result of this lineage. And it really is a logical progression, the kind of procedurally generated universe idea. And No Man's Sky is also in that lineage of just we're going to create a fucking galaxy, literally the size of a galaxy, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just wild. And they managed to do it. That's the whole crazy part. So yeah. So that's been cool. I thought I'd throw that in there because it was really neat.
No, I've owned it for a while, like so many other games, and just obviously haven't.
If you ever want some help, I can definitely. You would probably need it, and I would advise you to get a HOTAS if you don't have one already. I actually have a spare.
Yeah, what is Odyssey?
So Odyssey is the most. It is the most recent expansion. Yeah, it is the one that actually added the ability to get out of your ship and do missions on foot, on planet side and stuff like that.
It was not well received.
It was not well received. This is the other thing that I discovered was Elite Dangerous has gone through some highs and lows, and the last time I looked at it, it was going through a low because Odyssey had just released and it was not well received. It was not well done. They have put in some work. There's a whole new monetization model. They've upped the quality of the stuff that was in Odyssey. They've integrated it more seamlessly. The way they're handling the new ship releases and stuff, they've got they're kind of what Warframe is going through right now, whereas they're getting a lot of really good vibes in the community, and the numbers are way up. They've hit the highest player count in years right now, and that kind of thing. So they're currently having a bit of a renaissance, which is really neat. And it's a nice time to kind of get in and sort of see where it's at, because they are in a very good place right now. So it's cool. It's nice to see this kind of thing, particularly a game like Elite Dangerous, which has been around for 12 years, I want to say, or something like that. It's been around for a while. It's not a new game.
10 years.
A lot of older games are getting second lives suddenly for some strange reason. I wonder why. But
it's almost like people are rediscovering older titles for no reason.
Funny thing that. But speaking of new titles, why don't you take this one, because I have no idea about this.
So Balatro was a massive success. Almost everybody's aware of Balatro, and if they're not actually playing it, I play it. I enjoy it. I have not hit that point where you you actually figure out how to actually play the fucking game properly, because I know that there's a trick or some kind of a process that you have to follow to unlock the true multipliers in it to really make it go insane. And it's even straight up, it's a great title, and the fact that it was produced by one person is a huge deal. So the heir apparent has come out, and it is Clover Pit. It is a very weird title.
Is this the same developer?
No.
Okay.
But I say heir apparent in that it is a gambling game with, well, they call it a roguelite slot machine nightmare. Gamble for your life in a never-ending debt simulator.
How is that different from every day? Like,
so this is actually from the same developer as Inscription, which was very successful.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Very tricky card game, very monochrome orange graphic presentation, very creepy as shit. But anyway, this is it's like it's like hell. You get spawned into a small room with a slot machine and a telephone and a computer and a couple of things, and it's rendered in very simple graphics. And the premise is that the computer gives you some tokens to gamble with, and you have to get to a certain amount in order to get more tokens to move forward. Otherwise, you get dropped into the pit that's beneath you.
Right.
So it's a very dystopian interface, but it's oddly compelling. It's very grimy and lived in. It's like it's been here for thousands of years, and yeah, it is clearly supposed to be hell, and the question is, can you ever truly escape it? So, but it's only $10. It's currently on sale for $11.69 Canadian. So it's even cheaper if you're American. So it is. There's a free demo, so you can at least get a taste of it. It's from the same developers, Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, which came out last year. But yeah, it's a very cool indie success, basically, and they've already sold over 100,000 copies on launch, which is great. Obviously, it's already a hit in that respect, because I don't know. I don't think it's a very big group that produced it.
This is kind of where we are. I'm noticing a trend.
Well, and it plays into the fact that the middle class has been obliterated. You know, we used to have multiple levels of developing. Like, you had your strict indies with one person, two people. Then you had your good middle-sized group, and then you'd have the mega AAA group, which was hundreds of developers. And those middle developers are evaporating because you can't run a fucking business anymore with 30 employees without it getting eaten alive by another company, and then you're beholden to them, and then they murder you, and because your video game did extremely well, but not to the level that the shareholders expected. Anyway, so this is just a solid indie title if you're into light gambling. And again, so what you do is you get little tchotchkes in the game that will change your odds and enhance your payout on things. So you're trying to maximize multipliers in order to get the amount that you need to move forward. There's some really nice reviews. Balatro's alcoholic distant cousin who shows up to family gatherings in a 1970 Ford Thunderbird. I mean, that's pretty accurate. Nice. I've only been playing it I did a couple of sessions last night, and I obviously haven't found that groove. A lot of mostly very positive reviews. There's obviously a few people that are getting ahead saying, but it's not meant to be a friggin' lifestyle game. It's a goddamn casual game. It was $10. You know, you can buy the game and Balatro for $17. You know,
there you go.
It's just you're helping indies. You're getting a nice little game to spend some time in. You're not going to lose days of your life to it. So
don't worry,
it's definitely worth looking into.
At some point there'll be another GTA. So
exactly. Side note, I did try the it's officially released, the Dune Awakening.
Oh yeah.
Which is the big MMO. Last weekend they had a free to play run, and I said, you know what, I wanted to try the beta, and I was gone when they did the beta, so I didn't get to play it. And as much as I appreciate the aesthetic and being on Arrakis, some of the reviews have been positive. If you're looking for an MMO, it's probably a solid choice. But some of the choice, when you've got something like Dune where it's so immersive, and it's a world we know and we kind of want to live in, except it's hell. But then it's so the setup for the story is so insane. Like, you crash on Arrakis, and you're basically saved by somebody who's basically from it, because it's an alternate reality where Paul Atreides is never born.
All right.
So the Fremen are wiped out, and it's basically the Harkonnen run everything, and you're just trying to get by. But you basically you're saved by this dude, and you get ludicrously powerful things like some kind of a. It's instead of giving you a weapon, you get something that can manufacture stuff. So basically, you have your base building abilities almost immediately.
It's largely a survival game, right? It's like
it is. It really
part
is.
MMO,
But
part survival game.
Yeah, you pick up a couple of rocks and a couple of pieces of metal, and all of a sudden you can build a house. Like, really? Jesus, guys, come on. But that's just necessary. It's a game. It's the game. You have to play the game.
It's the game part.
And it's so dumb in that way. Like, I don't want to kill myself just trying to make an environment to live in, but Jesus, it's just so dumb when they just hand you the device that'll create a world with just a couple of clicks. Like, all right, whatever. Anyway, I thought it was fine, but I see where they're going with it, and I'm just not gonna put the time into it.
It's one of those not for you situations.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. I mean, if it was if you were paying me to play it, I'm sure I could find some fun in it. But and everything's gated. You start in the desert, and you're like, oh, okay, obviously this is the game. No, it's not. You're gonna eventually in order to get to the other area, you've got to eventually build an ornithopter, and then you'll finally get into the real world where you'll get murked by everybody else because you're gonna be so grossly underleveled, and they're just gonna murder you and take your shit. And that's the other thing. Being a survival game, when you die, you lose everything. You basically, one of the first things you create at your base is basically your cloning device, which will let you recreate yourself from that, but you lose everything that you gained in that part of the mission. And I don't have time in my life to lose everything that I was doing.
Well, this is like, I actually have a friend who's very much into it, and I've been tempted, but like, just knowing that it's a survival game is the thing that's made me gone, nope. Like, I have tried several survival games, and I hate plate spinning games. I hate games where you have to like constantly real time manage several systems. Like, that's not. Let alone the fact that
you're also going to be monitoring your thirst levels.
Well, that's it. That's exactly
sunstroke, and make sure you're not attracting worms. And it's amusing, but it's not. It's a full price game. So you buy it, and then you're still paying for monthly access.
If you're into survival games, I understand it's quite good. But if you're not, it's definitely not. So it's one of those.
Anyway, that's so for once I've actually been playing a new game.
Interesting.
So you're welcome.
Speaking of not playing a new game, we're going to get to our last thing. I promise I'll try and make this quick. Warframe, there's been some stuff. Things have happened. There is a new update coming down soon. The Valis Undermine. There was a dev stream last week, and they do one every couple of months. And so they revealed the new unannounced fall update, the whole new Warframe that looks freaking adorable, and I love it already, and it's got good community vibes. That's happening October 15th or something, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of good stuff is coming down in Warframe. There's going to be a the giant update is at the end of this year, and we are going to have something special to talk about soon, in particular relation to this podcast and Operation Puppet and Warframe. The clan's going to go open to the public. This is a little.
Oh, they thought they commissioned you to make puppets.
That would be the top of the show. That would be what the show is. The entire show is me and Rebecca Ford sitting down and going, "So cool, huh?" No, that's not happened. But yes, the official clan Pixels and Puppets is going to be opening to the public. I haven't quite got there yet, but we are in the process of doing that. So look forward to that. But yeah, Warframe continues to be cool. I had a really good time today. I did all my daily stuff and my weekly stuff all in one day, and it was really fun. So yes, Warframe.
Awesome.
Still good, still fun, love it a lot. Yeah. So that's it. That's like, we're kind of it. We're a little bit shorter than normal, but
that's fine. We still had a lot to cover.
That's probably good. It's probably good that we could keep a couple under 2 hours, remarkably enough.
Yeah, God. It's possible. See, we can do it.
We absolutely can do it. Okay. Thank you for taking the time, Andrew, even in your stricken state to
Not at all.
to do this. Thank you, everybody. If you've listened this far, you are a champ. OperationPuppet.com for all of the links, and we'll catch you next time. You have been listening to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Visit www.operationpuppet.com for all our links. Tell your friends, give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again, because nothing is more entertaining than aging nerds giving their opinions on the internet.